Hello. Today we're doing an offline what review. What I'm gonna focus on is our previous topic. I've been mainly talking about stabilizing, how effective to do that. I see that we talked about compositions and just overall spikes of pressure, being able to stabilize around those. So I will mainly focus on that, and whatever the other small problems I see, I will mention that as well. What I want to talk about is first off the team compositions. I watched a little bit of this, but I think it's good to start with the compositions first. At this stage here, we have poke compositions on your side, and on the enemy is more faster oriented. Yeah, both of you guys have poke elements, dive elements, but the main idea is that the enemy comp plays faster, where your comp plays slower. They want to engage first, but you also want to dive, but because you're playing slower, you dive second in a way. So what to do? In this case, we usually need to make sure that we're trying to take map control, and that potentially might force out the enemy dive. And if the enemy dive forced out and we live through that, after that we investing in our engage. This is how it usually looks like: soft engage or like soft dive. Make sure we live through that, force out important cooldowns. Maybe it's the ball slam, maybe it's the lose your speed and a nade, maybe trace a recall, and then afterwards we can punish them with our bubble, I think. Unless there's gonna be a big exception of why you use the bubble. Maybe it's to get a kill, maybe you can just try to do something big just to maybe block something, certain ultimate, I don't know, maybe. But mainly just gonna be forcing them to do something with the map control first, and then after that punishing that as well. You gotta be pretty patient. I think first stages there have been not too many problems. The only one concern I saw is right at the start, where when you look into dive in like here and your bubble is instantly forced, but the enemies are not investing anything too big. If they would be investing something in your backline or towards you, then it's fine. So this is what I call soft dive stage. You need to take map control, and ideally your bubble shouldn't be forced unless there's a big kill opportunity, which is not the case here. I think you just need to play slower and make sure there's big investment, even though enemy team seems like they started investing a little bit more, but I think you have to actively look if this is happening. So before that, it would be just you setting up, maybe take a little bit more space control, and later on you can decide. Yeah, once the engagement is over, because they're playing faster, they engage first. After that, you can punish them. And as you can see, the first fight is not going too well because of it. I like that you're kiting later on. You're not going too deep anymore, because you probably saw that, well, the dive's happening towards my team. I have to be patient, and it becomes successful later, sort of, because this moment here, this is when they used a lot of resources. We could see the Tracer probably without their, most of their, yeah, the recall is going to be forced, the ball used the slam, and this is a good time for you to actually do something. If you're exactly able to track all of that, that is perfect. What do you need to do? The first bubble, the first engagement was a little bit more concerning though. You guys are living through this engage, and at the end you're winning. That's how this composition works, to keep it simple. They also have Brig, but overall, the idea is gonna be the same. Your composition is slower, their composition is faster, mainly because of the ball Lucio Tracer. Right now, it's just us living, taking map control, not investing the bubble unless the enemy makes big commitment with something, like we said. So it's pretty easy for us to punish anything. You got a big kill there, even though we invested the bubble, so it's worth it. Now, you guys able to stabilize, shouldn't be the problem. You shouldn't worry too much about soft dive, hard dive anymore. We just need to make sure that we push off the advantage. When the real fight is gonna start, then you will think about what to do next. And this is where I think this, again, is a little bit more concerning. Let's see, what are they investing? Well, they did invest the ball slam, and then you using the bubble here And it ends up being okay-ish, because your Genji is going for the blade, but my problem is, do you exactly know that they're gonna blade? If yes, then I would position posture more aggressively for that to be more hard engage. And the hard engage is mostly gonna be based on something. It's either enemy uses big cooldown, we can punish them, or our team, I'm gonna put it this way, our team is using something big, usually ultimates, big burst. I will put it in the summary this way, and then you can posture more aggressively. Right now it seems more of a force bubble, not intentionally helping out the big burst do something. Our team member being more active currently. Ended up being okay though, because we're still in that sort of space where it's possible to help them out. This is where we just need to merely make sure we live, like we said before, making sure we kite, and potentially punishing any isolated target can be okay for you as well, like that Bastion. Sure, investing in the bubble makes sense, because big kill opportunity. This overall first point is going pretty good for us. The fight is gonna be over really soon. Just need to make sure we use the ultimate stabilizing, so it's pretty good overall. Now, let's look at the second point. I think same idea will be remaining. You need to make sure you live, so the ball engage. Make sure they're investing something big, mainly because of the tracer ball. You do have pretty decent pull capabilities too. I think the Moira is gonna swap later, if I'm not mistaken too, but let's see. Control an important position here, living Sue, your surgeon gets a pick. Now, it's gonna be mainly fine. The bubble, well, it's not too bad, since your surgeon got a pick, so you can be more aggressive with that in a way. You don't have to think about it as much, just kind of make sure you remain this space, maybe a little bit more, because probably the enemy team will not look for any big commitment right now. You don't need to preserve the bubble for the time when they hard engage, and then make sure you punish them afterwards. So it seems sort of okay-ish. This bubble, however, is more concerning to me. This is the same as we watched at your first engage of the first point. You go in, but what kind of commitment the enemies are making? Yeah, what your team can capitalize off as well. And there's no kill opportunity either, so I would probably hold on to that. Make sure you force an enemy actions, you have good map control, and that forces an enemy to do something towards you. And then later on, you can start investing your bubble. Why? Because it's either cooldown side invested on you or on your team. And it doesn't matter, is it you or your team? Let's say you're at A and your team is B, because both of you guys can help each other. Both of you guys can support that each other in a way, then it makes it easy. That's our job as a tank. Make sure we absorb pressure in the right areas. Let's keep watching. So potentially that bubble, few seconds of that could be used on something else. That's my concern. Here is sort of fine. We see the investment. Your team can also help out with that engage, and we're trying to just live through that right after the engagement. Sometimes it might feel that that soft dive can easily transition into hard dive pretty fast. So any hard engagement, any sort of commitment you see from the enemy right away, you can start transitioning. It's not like two separate, complete separate stages. You just need to keep in mind that if there's some commitment, you can punish it after. It's going pretty good for us. The fight is over. We can set up. It's gonna be alright. Mainly playing around your Widow and Surgeon's ultimate at this point. You have a lot of bursts with that, so if you can force an enemy to fight in their line of sight, will be really good. Unfortunately, your Widow got picked, so it will be slightly more concerning. In here, again, I want you to make sure there is big commitment, so you exactly know this bubble gets value right now, and especially your other big resources can get value as well. Do we know where the Surgeon is? Do we know where the Widow is, right? It seems like they're fighting on a point currently, so I think this type of engagement is slightly more concerning to me. I'm not too sure we have to. Alright, so for the most part, it's still relatively fine, though, because of you guys just being able to stabilize at the currently we're just fighting those isolated targets. Makes sense to me, and let's see how it's gonna go afterwards. Taking the map control, fighting over here, sure. Ymor is dead, that's okay. And now we jump in. This is where it feels we're trying a little bit too much. I appreciate that you're trying to take the map control, you kind of just pushing forward, do something, but it's a little bit too early to be fully investing into the hard engage. And like I said before, the good triggers for you is if your enemy team is doing something big, you can punish that after that, or you enabling something big from your team. And I think neither of those are happening. Remember, when your Genji was blading, I was saying, well, this is potentially okay to invest something. Maybe it's your ultimate, maybe it's your bubble, so it works out. I think in here, it becomes a little bit complicated for even your surgeon, because she has ultimate to capitalize of that engagement. If it would clear that space here first and then would push that with ultimate later, that makes sense. But now you kind of absorb pressure in the area where your team can do something, or the commitment of the enemy team cannot be punished. What they're committing? It seems like the ball is not even committing the slam. It seems like they're I don't know, what other investments they could make. Maybe they start doing something, their ultimate. Maybe they use their window. Maybe the Bastion use Steward form or something. There's no commitment whatsoever. And like we said, the tempo of your com, in my opinion, is going to be played more second. Play more second approach. Make sure that you dive in second after something happens. Doesn't mean that we just wait and stand still, but it just means that you gotta try to set up and be more patient. I don't know how you can manage that, but it's just mostly around using cover, maybe making sure that you're not getting your bubble forced. There are just some things you can do with the map control. Take the high grounds, take any sort of verticality you have, maybe use this part of the map. You can stand here, maybe you can be here. You can use your own high ground, take time and scout, stuff like that. Yeah, a little bit too hard, and you can see that too. You just need to live through. You use the bubble, which is fine. Well, let's see, maybe we could even avoid that. Let's just go back a little. So the enemy team's done stuff. Okay, it seems that we recognize, well, maybe there's a kill opportunity, so I do something with the bubble. Well, it still makes sense, even though, because they use Kiriko ultimate, even. I think this is fine trade. Yeah, use the bubble, secure that space, pushes them back because they made a commitment, so it's... our rule is applicable, right? They made a commitment, we kind of been soft-diving, then we can hard dive after with the bubble. Now, you again at this stage of soft-dive, and I think this is where again you need to live. It's just constantly rotating. Make sure, okay, what are the investments they make? They make the Bastion investment? Sure. Let's let them do that. I can escape, and I can just try to do something with that space here, and then later on re-engage, just take the high ground and then punish them afterwards, hard dive. Now it's been a little bit too hard and a little bit too forced. I think this engagement, if it live, it would be quite easy to win this fight. You probably win the game. Now taking map control, that's okay. Unfortunately, your Genji died though. Again, fine to take map control and wait, make sure we're patient, and then after that you can think about what to do. The enemy team seems they're committing the Bastion's ultimate, so might be the good reason to start doing something. Yeah, because they're being active towards your team. I wonder what they do with their ultimate. Oh, they have this. Yeah, they have they have this set up right on your backline, right? Yeah, it's mainly a soldier. Well, that's fine. Anyway, it can be good sign. They invest in something, good sign for you to invest your bubble too if needed. Punishing isolated Bastion, gets healed by the Kiriko. Maybe we get a kill here, right? Oh, that's really unfortunate. Just the last seconds. Yeah, I think the jump here, is slightly. It's more crucial to just go on a point at this point. That's fine. Let's see how the third map is gonna go. I think this here is harder for you because you have less options what to do with verticality. There's still an option to go up and down with the high ground, but it's a little bit more complicated. I think more brawl comps usually doing better. We're taking space, sure. Now just mostly gonna be fighting for the top left and a little bit of poke. Your soldier dies. Somehow I think it's bashing grenade together with him trying to helix the ball probably. Sure, fighting chokes makes sense too. If the ball is committing, especially. This is where I don't think you have to do this. This is where I think you just have to, like we said, you self-diving to perform something. Either enemy does performance towards your team or you. If they do that, make sure you live without wasting your bubble. After that, we can hard engage and just go in. No reason to use the bubble. Escape, your team can go even harder after this Bastion Steward mode. If you really think that, okay, my team seems to be aggressive and this Bastion is using my turret mode, this is where it's difficult to judge, but overall the rule of thumb is if my pressure is doing better compared to their pressure, then I invest the bubble. If not, then I want to kite. And right now there's been no pressure at all, so it doesn't make sense. Now let's say we would use some ultimate, even the Bastion's using turret mode. Fine, why do I kite? I can just keep enabling. I can transition it to the hard engage. Yep, enable my hard pressure and at the same time make sure that on the other side, on the other side of the battle, if they're doing something big and my team is not able to do something, I usually kite. I just want to go back a little bit more, give up space. This is fine. If your team can commit actively, why not? Some resources being forced out too, so too bad. They have Sombra now, Laurie, that's okay. At this point you can use your bubble whenever because you have an advantage, just keep pushing. Yeah, exactly, we can keep taking space. A little bit forced, but yeah. You just partially on how you take this space. I think it's fine that you take space, but keep in mind that your team is pretty long range oriented, so it's okay if you take your time. Take your time and do not jump the area where that too many people which can punish you. You can make sure that you cut off more of the angles by jumping more forward. So if I go here, I can still get healed because you have a lot of poke damage, a lot of long range guys to help you out. Bab can help you out, Soldier can help you out, Cassidy can do that as well. And you're cutting off some of the angles like the Sombra and Alari potentially being here. They have to peek you, go harder this way. But now because we slide them on the open, our ultimate got forced out, which is not ideal. I think you can keep it for the actual 5v5. It's good ultimate though, but it's just better to waste with more time when we are actually fighting 5v5, so it matters more. Like let's say you have it here instead of this window, and then we can dive in, go use our ultimate, make sure that we secure a couple of kills this way. This works out better. Not too sure, well, we going in and investing. Do we know that the ball is going in for the mines? Let me see. I just slow it down. Yeah, we kind of use bubble for no reason. There's no commitment yet, right? And they most likely, if they would make commitment, they would die to the window anyway. So unless you recognize that the commitment happens, you don't need to use the bubble. Let's say you would use the bubble now, when the ball does this, he has no choice. He's trying to establish the advantage. He's trying to perceive that space. So what he's saying, okay, I'm trying to be more aggressive and enable my team's pushing, so you would make it harder for them right now. And you also make it harder for this ball to do anything right now because you cut off all of their support. And see, they also have their own window too. Imagine we would have the bubble right now. That would be so much easier because they make a commitment. I can live and punish. I can live and punish. Alright, we also want to do the second replay, I believe. Let me take a look. So far, we are on this here, and the second game, not sure what the map is it going to be, but let's take a look. Alright, it seems that I have to relaunch the game, so I will stop the recording. It's gonna be first part, and then I'm gonna do the second part right after.